everybody. I thought I would get on here really quickly and do a live video in regards to what to expect when starting Sisterlocks. I don't expect a lot of people to get on the live right now. I hope that you'll watch this video after I post it, or if you join live, that's totally fine. I didn't really give a heads up that I'd be doing this today. I'm also trying to hold myself accountable to make sure I post videos and kind of record my journey. So I said I was going to do this, so y'all bear with me. I'm trying to do it. So I wanted to share with you all today how to the process that you can expect when you start Sisterlocks. I had to write some notes so I could kind of stay focused and make sure I'm not rambling too much. But I have seen a lot of different things out there about Sisterlocks. There's a lot of things online. There's a lot of things in social media. There's a lot of misconceptions about Sisterlocks and what they are, and misconceptions about how to get started. And today I need to go back and find this, but earlier this morning, I saw a lady shared on Instagram, an individual who thought she was getting Sisterlocks, went to get Sisterlocks, what she thought was Sisterlocks installed, and essentially got gypped. Like, she paid all this money, to have her hair locked, and it was done poorly. It was done incorrectly. They were not Sisterlocks. And she essentially wasted a lot of time and money, and her locks are not repairable. She had to comb her locks out and start over. So there are certain things and cues to watch for if you want Sisterlocks. There's a lot of different lock types out there, especially nowadays. There's a lot of different things that you can get to achieve the same look. So definitely not knocking that. But if you specifically want Sisterlocks, there's a very clear, in my opinion, process and protocol to go through that will let you know whether or not, whether there are red flags, whether you should run, or whether you should go for it with that particular individual, that particular loctician. So the first thing I wanted to mention is that I am not certified as a Sisterlocks loctician or consultant. I'm not trained in Sisterlocks. I've just done a lot of research. I have them myself. I've had a lot of conversations with my loctician. I've done a lot of research over the years about what Sisterlocks are. And so I know a little bit, enough to be a little dangerous. And then I can also speak to my own experiences. So I want to just clear that up first. In terms of what Sisterlocks are a trademark interlocking micro locks style. They're a type of micro locks that are interlocked from the rooter to the tutor. That's the easiest way to explain it. So that means that when you get your locks installed, they part the hair. Your loctician will part the hair and will start as far on the bottom as they can start, using a interlocked tool, a patented tool that's specific to Sisterlocks. Now, there are things out there that you can buy on Amazon and online, but the Sisterlocks tool that comes with the Sisterlocks trademark can only be accessed by those individuals who have gone through the training, who are certified to do Sisterlocks. So what they do is they take that interlocking tool from the base of your hair and they interlock your hair, which is kind of like doing the best way to explain it is kind of like doing a backwards braid. So they interlock the hair all the way up to the root, and then at the root is where they tighten it to the scalp, interlock it to the scalp, and then your hair, your touch-ups or your reties is where they go in and they touch up the root, where that new growth might be. So that is what kind of what Sisterlocks are to some degree. They are not two-strand twists. They start off as when somebody parts your hair in two-strand twists. And let me actually back up and say this first before I get into that. Sorry, I keep getting some kind of message. But let me back up and say this first. Sisterlocks also follow a very distinct grid pattern. So that means how your hair is parted and sectioned. They also have a very specific sizing chart. So where you might see someone who gets traditional locks that are palm rolled, but maybe they're micro in size, they're probably not as small as Sisterlocks. You might see someone who gets braid locks that are small, where they start with braiding the hair, but they're probably not as small as Sisterlocks. And then there's a very specific grid pattern that the loctician follows in alignment to the texture of your hair, the thickness of your hair, thinness of your hair, density of your hair, however you want to say that, and in accordance to the sizing chart, as well as the trademark or what Sisterlocks stands for. So that that's another distinction that makes Sisterlocks different. In terms of what Sisterlocks are not, they are not two-strand twists. I don't care how small they are, how they start. They do not start by two-strand twisting the hair and then later interlocking the hair. That is a different form of locks, and there is nothing wrong with that, but that is not Sisterlocks. Sisterlocks, traditional Sisterlocks, as it's been done by the organization that started Sisterlocks, does not include extensions. So you do not go to a Sisterlocks consultant and ask if they add hair to the length of your hair. Now, some people will say they have Sisterlocks and they have had hair added, and the look is the same, to each his own. But Sisterlocks, the way that it was designed and created, is not. That's not the same. Not the same thing. They don't start with braids. Sisterlocks are not palm rolled. So that means they're not rolled or comb coiled. Those are more of a traditional or a palm rolled lock style, which is absolutely beautiful. So nothing wrong with that either. It's just not the same thing as Sisterlocks. So there's a lot out there and a lot of misconceptions. And there's a lot of different kind of lock styles that are out there today that are amazing. And all of them, from as far as I can tell, most of them look good. But Sisterlocks has been around for a little while and was my preferred lock style. Sisterlocks are permanent. Now, can you comb them out? Yes, you can comb out any locks, really, if you want to sit there and comb out the locks. But when I made the decision to get Sisterlocks, I knew that this was my forever hair. I have no intentions of combing my hair out. Now, only God knows what's going to happen around the corner and in the future of my life, and so something may change that. But when I got this, I didn't get this with the intention of, oh, I'm going to have it for a year and then I'm going to take it out. I ain't got time for that. It costs way too much money. It's too much energy. It's too much of a journey and process to experience to get them and then turn around and comb them out or take them down. So when people ask, are they permanent, or when are you going to take your hair out? Never, baby, this forever. So wanted to just provide some clarity there. So there are some things there's one last thing I'll just mention in terms of Sisterlocks. Sisterlocks are installed and established by a certified Sisterlocks consultant or a Sisterlocks trainee, meaning that those individuals have been through a rigorous training process to understand the Sisterlock brand, to really know the ins and out of how to care for your hair with Sisterlocks, how to correct things, how to install them correctly, how to, whatever it is, consult and guide their clients on your hair. So that's another really important thing. If somebody is out here saying they do Sisterlocks and they're not certified, that's red flag number one. I would be like, but you're not certified. So you're not really doing Sisterlocks. You might be doing something else that's similar to Sisterlocks and maybe mimics Sisterlocks, but you're not trained in the proper Sisterlocks training and education. So, okay, Now, before you get Sisterlocks, here are some things that you should keep in mind. Now, if you made the decision to get Sisterlocks, there are some steps that you can begin to take to get your Sisterlocks installed. Another video opportunity would be to share with you guys how you know you're ready for Sisterlocks, or what to consider when getting Sisterlocks, but I'll save that for another day. For the purposes of this video, before you get Sisterlocks, the first thing that you want to do is go on the sisterlocks.com website. The very first thing you want to do is go on the sisterlocks.com website. And the reason for that is really twofold. One, you should absolutely, positively do your research. Understand what this is requiring. I share with you, this is a forever hairstyle for me. I'm always going to have Sisterlocks unless, you know, Lord willing, I plan on having Sisterlocks. This is a journey for me. I don't ever plan on doing anything different with my hair. And so it's a commitment. And so I needed to know exactly what I was getting myself into, from time commitment, cost, to maintenance, to washing my hair, to knowing what to do to get started. Whatever those things are, how to find a good consultant, like all of those things, to make sure what I was going to look like when I got out of the chair, when I first got my hair installed, you know, the good, bad, and the ugly. So I watched a lot of YouTube videos. I watched a lot of stuff on Instagram. But again, as I started, there's a lot of things that are out there about Sisterlocks, and some of that stuff is misinformation. And so sisterlocks.com is where you'll go and know for sure that the information that you're getting is in fact related to Sisterlocks, and it is honest, real information as it pertains to Sisterlocks. They have everything from FAQs to, you know, kind of where the process began. I will tell you, their website is outdated than a mug. Like they really need to step into 2022, but the information is there. So if you're just looking for the information, it's there. The second reason why you should go to the Sisterlocks site is because from the site, you can find a Sisterlocks consultant. So if you go to the website, you can actually find a Sisterlocks consultant or trainee in your area. Again, it's sisterlocks.com is the website. There is a section that says find a consultant, and you can click on that, and the consultants are listed by state. That means these are the consultants in your area that are certified in Sisterlocks. There's also a section that says find a trainee. So if you are, you know, if there's not a consultant, or if you're interested in going to a trainee, which I'll get into in just a moment, you can go to find a trainee and find Sisterlocks in your area that is being done by a trainee. The difference between a trainee and a consultant really essentially is experience. A trainee has gone through the training, but as part of the process with Sisterlocks, you have to have completed so many heads, and I think there's some information they have to send in. I'm honestly not 110% clear on this because I'm not certified in Sisterlocks. I've not been trained in it, but they've gone through the training. And then they have to do a number of, I think, heads and complete so many different tasks. And then they send in information to then get their consultant, you know, to have it approved by Sisterlocks to say that they are now a consultant. Oftentimes, because a trainee hasn't gotten their official certification yet, their fees are cheaper. So their fees are generally lower. They charge you a trainee fee versus a consultant fee. The other thing is they may not be as fast and as experienced. So that's something else to sort of keep in mind. So you go to the sisterlocks.com website to learn more about Sisterlocks, and then 2, to find a consultant or trainee in your area. And once you've found that person, you need to schedule a consultation. You can schedule a consultation with multiple consultants and trainees, it's actually encouraged to, or trainees, it's actually encouraged to do that so that you can really try and compare. You shop around, right? Like someone who you're going to spend a lot of time with, that person, someone you feel comfortable with, that you can be yourself around. I will say in Iowa, we're a little bit more limited. It is getting more popular, so more people are getting their or becoming trainees and getting certified. But in bigger cities, a lot of times people will go and see 3 and 4 consultants before they have 3 or 4 consultations with different consultants before they decide on who they want to train them. Sorry, I got a phone call. So the making sure you shop around for a consultant and or a trainee, and so once you find that person, you schedule your consultation. With your consultation, generally there is a fee that, if you go with that consultant, will be included in your overall establishment cost. But you pay a small fee. I think mine was like $25. So you can imagine if you're shopping around, you're going to pay that every time, right? And if you don't stay with that consultant, that money you're not going to get back. But what happens during a consultation? And what is the purpose of the consultation? Is really twofold. One, the consultation is there for you to make sure you're comfortable with the person that's going to be doing your locks, to make sure that, you can kind of check to make sure they know their stuff. It's like shopping around for a car. You want to test drive the car, right? So it's the same concept. You want to make sure that whoever's going to be in your head is someone that you feel is knowledgeable, someone that maybe you click with, that you're comfortable with, that they're professional, that their environment is professional, whatever those things are. There's some sister lock consultants or locticians who do sister locks out of their home. Are you okay with that? There's some who have a salon. Are you okay with that? Does it matter? So those are the kind of things. And then you also come prepared to ask a series of questions. What is it going to cost? How long is it going to take? Those are the kind of things that you want to check in with them on, and just make sure you're comfortable. So that's one piece of it. The other piece is for the consultant to have an opportunity to look at your hair. During your consultation, the trainee or consultant will actually go through your hair and examine your hair, look at the texture of your hair. They will measure the length of your hair. They'll consider the density of your hair, the thickness of your strands. They'll do all of those things, the texture in terms of curl pattern, how tightly coiled is your hair? Do you have loose curls? Do you have heat damage? Do you have damaged ends? Do you have relaxed hair? Are you natural? Do you have dyed hair? Right? So they're looking at all of those things to make sure they can decide what type of interlocked the rotation pattern. So I talked about that in one of my other videos with my loctician, but the rotation pattern essentially is the pattern that they use to lock your hair, and depending on the texture of your hair, that pattern is going to vary. So they're considering that. They're thinking about everything from whether your hair is long enough to lock, how long is it, if it's really long, how long it's going to take to lock. And then they look at things like the propensity of your hair. So how much does your hair kind of bounce back? So during my consultation, what Raquela did is she did just that. I had my hair in a bun. I was instructed to wash my hair and not put anything. I think she told me not to put anything in my hair. I think so, if I remember correctly. And so she could see my hair in my natural state. Baby, it was a situation. Bless her heart. And then what she did, the other thing that's part of the consultation is she sectioned off a part of my hair, like towards the back. And I think it was like right here. And what she did is she put in about 10 test locks. So as part of your consultation, you're the potential consultant or trainee will put in test locks to see if to see how your hair responds. And it also is a great opportunity for you to decide if you want to get sister locks. Trust me, your test locks will come out if you get cold feet. I've been through this process before. In 2017, I had my test locks put in. I decided I don't want to do this right now. And so my locks eventually unraveled and came out. And they're really, really, really small. So being a loose natural, I was able to just put my hair up in a bun and do my daily normal hair routine. And that's what my consultant Raquela told me to do. Just, she put the test locks in and she told me to treat my hair like I normally would. So if I use a lot of products, to use a lot of products. If I don't use products, don't use products. Whatever the process, normal day-to-day routine was for my hair. So when I got my test locks the second time, when I decided to officially get sister locks, I was like super excited. I was so happy, just excited to have them and to see how they looked and really look forward to it. But that's one of the things that what will happen during your consultation. Another part of your consultation is you should get the customer starter kit. So with sister locks, there is a very rigorous process that you should follow in maintenance of your hair. That includes no products, so no oils, no gel, no grease, none of that, as well as the starter shampoo. There is a specific shampoo that they design that is specifically designed to help your hair mature and lock over time, and it's designed by Sister Locks. And so as part of you becoming a member of the Sister Lock family, you get a starter kit. And so this is what the starter kit comes in. It comes in this box. It's nothing fancy. Bless Sister Locks, and they bless their heart. They just the bare minimum with some of this stuff. But this is what the Sister Locks starter kit box looks like. And inside this box, there's a number of different things that comes with it. There's instructions on how to wash your hair. When you first wash your hair, when you first get Sister Locks, you have to braid and band the end. So there's instructions and steps. This is front and back that walks you through exactly how to do that. I've used the stuff that was in my starter kit because I've been locked for 15 months now. But so don't laugh. But in this little plastic bag were some rubber bands that were actually colored rubber bands for when I decided to braid and band my hair for the first time. And then there's this thing that you can fill out that allows you to go in and send this in and actually get a birth certificate. So there's a birth certificate for your hair if you're into that thing. Really wasn't something I wanted to do. I mean, your girl can't halfway remember to return stuff to the store, so I certainly wasn't about to mail this in. But that's just me. And then there's some other details here that you get about transitioning your hair, some tips and information and resources. I love to read and learn things, so this kind of stuff is just intriguing to me. So I did read through that. Very helpful tips on what to expect for Sister Locks. And so the starter shampoo looks like this. Again, nothing fancy, but this is what came with my starter kit. And actually, this one I did purchase after I used all that came in my starter kit. So the starter kit, starter shampoo is smaller than this. I think it's smaller than this. I have to ask Raquela because I can't exactly remember. But this is this is what it looks like. And I've heard a lot of things from people who say they don't like the starter shampoo. They don't like how it makes their hair feel. I love it. I feel like it gets my hair super clean. And it works really well for me. I usually have to use it about three washes probably to really get my hair clean. So that's the starter shampoo. One other thing with the I forgot something about the consultation that I'm the other thing that Raquela did during my consultation is she explained to me what sister locks were, that it was permanent, kind of walked me through that. She had a number of different materials that she shared. She explained to me the kind of hair texture I had. We talked about my rotation pattern. And we scheduled a time for me to get my install. So that was part of the process. And I believe there was actually something that I had to sign to say that I understood that this was like a permanent hair decision. So that's what you can expect in terms of before you get your sister locks, finding a consultant, researching, and then what your consultation will be like. And then before your install, you will be expected to wash your hair to get it really clean. Raquela instructed me to use the starter shampoo. So I had the pleasure and privilege of actually using the starter shampoo before I had sister locks. So I got to check it out and see how it felt. I really liked it. Like, it got my hair really, really squeaky clean. Before your install, you're instructed to wash your hair, to not don't straighten it or anything like that. They really want you to kind of leave it in its state, essentially. I did detangle mine because I was like, girl, try to get up in this head, these kinks, that's gonna hurt. So I did detangle it a little bit, but I tried really hard not to stretch my hair or do anything to it, because you don't want to change the texture, because the texture is what helps the interlocking process. So there's no product. You're not supposed to deep condition. I see so many girls and women talking about, oh, I'm going to deep condition my hair and I'm going to do this treatment on my hair before I get sister locks. No. Your hair, all that product all that's going to do is make your hair slippery and make your locks more prone to unraveling. No product. They tell you don't put anything in your hair. The other thing you can expect is your first retie after your installation or establishment is free. That comes up as a part of that. And the starter kit, the cost of the starter kit is also included in your price for your installation. So your installation fee or cost includes the starter kit and your first retie. In terms of what happens after you get your install, you enjoy your hair. It is a little bit of a shock for some, because depending on the thickness of your hair, it might look a little spacey. Some people call it the plucked chicken look. I was fortunate enough that my hair is thick enough that it wasn't as plucked chicken look as some people, or my hair is it's probably average density in terms of thickness. But I was blessed that you couldn't see a lot of my parts. It definitely looks, if I look back at pictures, it looks more thin, because my locks just weren't as mature. So right after, you might kind of have that plucked chicken look. It is a bit of an adjustment. You might even experience a little bit of itching the first few weeks after your install, just because your scalp is adjusting, kind of detoxing, not used to maybe not having any products, and you've just done this different thing on your hair. And so your hair is kind of adjusting and adapting. I did experience a little bit of itching about 5 days after my install, between the first week or two or so, somewhere in there, it was really itching at first. And then what you can expect is you'll be provided with your starter kit. You'll be provided with that to wash your hair, and your loctician should give you instructions on when you should wash your hair. Raquela told me to make sure my hair was washed 24 to 48 hours before my retie, to make sure the hair is nice and clean and it's dry and it's all ready to go for her to do the retie. And that's the process that I still follow today. And then when after the first 3 to 4 weeks, probably between 2 and 4 weeks, you should have an appointment with your loctician. Mine was at the 4-week mark, for them to examine my hair and make sure that everything was progressing as it should, to make sure I had braided and banded correctly when I washed my hair, to let me know that everything was good, or I was doing something wrong, or maybe where, you know, some had maybe slipped out, and kind of repairing those. And I've been on the journey ever since. So that is sort of the process for what to expect in the process of getting Sisterlocks, you know, including starting the researching process, having your consultation, and then what to expect shortly after your install. So that's what my experience has been like. Let me know if you guys have any questions. I'm going to follow up this video with a short video on wash day, because today I'm actually going to be washing my hair. So I'm going to follow up this video with another short video on wash day, if you care to watch that as well. Thanks, and deuces.